image of Lise Charmel has always been a fine balance between sensuality and sophistication. We never want to lose that sophistication. She is elegant and yet sensual.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Efros, and our special guest today is Sandra Jones, a director, North America at Lise Charmel. Hi, Sandra. So nice to have you with us today.
Hi, Essie. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I wanted to have this conversation for the longest time. Love Lise Charmel. I'm in love with the brand. and and I'm sure many women just adore this brand, so they will be very interested to learn more about this iconic French brand. So who is Lise Charmel woman today? Sorry, my voice, and how she evolved over time.
So the Lise Charmel woman is actually liberated. She is very free, and that's, I would say, the result of several years that we've passed, since the 20s, in the beginning of the 20s, with so many movement that we've had the chance to witness as women. And she is definitely liberated, but she's also incredibly attached to details and craftsmanship. She is well traveled. She is definitely self-sufficient. She is very well affirmed, and as a woman, she often, carry herself very love, in a good way. And I would say she is also very attuned, and she has a very good sense of sensibility of like art and craft and fashion. She's very in tune to what's new, what's relevant, what isn't. But she has a sense of um, how would I describe this? It's a sophistication that longs. It's almost like a timeless, envision about who she really is. Um, and she is of all age. That's what's really interesting. And that's what we've seen over the years, that now our customer has, she has crossed the age range. We have customers as young as in their 20s, as old as in their 70s. And that is actually terrific to see. Now the average range, I would say, is around 30s to 50s. That's kind of like a larger bracket for a woman, but she's well traveled. She's very tuned, and she's also looking to invest in something that will last. So she is very sensible to what is what is value for our investments, and she loves the story behind the brands. I think our customers are very, very attuned to what the brands offers, and also the that craftsman that we're trying to perpetuate. So that is something she's definitely very attuned to.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like she's a woman with no age, right?
In a way, I
Yeah.
mean, that's ideal, right? We all like to think of ourselves that way in so many aspects. But I think, yes, in a way, she's, as I say, we target all brackets. We have collections that are very moderns, and some collections are a little bit more traditionals due to the iconic offer that we have that's long-standing in the group, between the silk and the guipure and some of our lace. So we have some core collections that she has followed over the years. And if we have young customers, we have definitely, more appeals with the younger lines, or I should say the more recent lines that have, I'm actually wearing one of them, the Diva Glamour that I'm wearing today, that has a little bit more graphic, details, and also incorporates a lot more ready to wear and fashion piece that have been quite prominent this later years on the runways globally. So it's actually nice to see that. And as I say, she's really not apologetic. She really feels like she owns who she is, and she doesn't have to dress for somebody else. She really dressed for herself initially. And that's actually terrific. I think that is a huge battle that we won over the last, decades.
Oh, that's amazing. By the way, love the piece you're wearing. It's absolutely gorgeous. I meant to ask you about it. And so, how would you describe those signature elements that make Liz Charmel instantly recognizable?
Lise Charmel is definitely recognizable by its craft, and that goes through most of the guipure work and the embroidery work. Our embroidery are usually very dense in the sense of the color graduations, the various colors. There is always sort of like small details that really make the piece stands out, and that goes not just with the straps, but it could be the little details in the center gore, but also the guipure is worked or the embroidery is positioned. And then, of course, as you may already know, at Lise Charmel, everything starts with this design, scratch. So our design team really draft everything. So our lace, our embroidery, our patterns are all starting with a sketch. Everything start from scratch. That's what I mean by this. And so that allows for a very strong impact in the sense that it's easier to recognize lace because the lace is so detailed. There's such a unique patterns to it, a lot of like depth into the lace, a lot of different colors into the embroideries. Some of our embroidery have no less than 10, 12 different colors and nuance in the embroidery to give the depth and the dimension that you're seeing. They also often tell the story, and clients will recognize that. We had a collections recently that was really evocative of some of Monet paintings, and people do literally see that when they actually look at the collection. So there is that definite, pattern. And then, of course, there is a tradition of the silhouettes that we've always had in the group as an offer, and that are keep on being part of the offer every seasons. So there is not only the look and the fact that all the fabric that you will touch in Chamel is very tactile, very sensual. It's very, very soft. We use very soft mesh. So our mesh is actually what we call mesh multi-brin. So it has that really soft finish. All the laces that we use are also, either cotton based, or so there is it's all about, I would say, first the recognition of what we're looking at in terms of, like, let me just give you an example with this stunning embroidery this season that is coming in the spring, and that is, I mean, so many different details into the embroidery, and of course into the colors to give the depth and dimension. This is actually in
Yeah.
broderie à plat, so it allows for very, very soft and last very flat finish. But I think that is what the detail. The detail is really the structure of the recognition, I would think.
Absolutely. And I marveled over so many of the styles of Liz Charmel. And I've noticed that one of the signatures is matching if there is a print on the garment seamlessly to the lace. And you can, by that, you can like definitely differentiate Liz Charmel from other brands and recognize it immediately. Now I know why, because you design everything from scratch, and
Mhm.
that's why everything
Mhm.
just creates this amazing, I don't know, ambiance and the ensemble.
Yeah, it's
Um,
it's really cohesive, and it's also, um, I mean, just like in the couture process,
mm,
everything is assembled to create
yeah,
a look, and it's very much the same process. Our design team goes back and forth to just adjust sometimes just one single nuance
yeah,
in the bra, or just to make sure that the overall flows really beautifully. So the process is long in terms of designs. The collection takes times. It
mhm,
doesn't just happen overnight. We show our collections in seasons with the runways. So we just finished showing spring, summer, 2026,
yeah,
where other brands may be already into the fall, but that's something that evolves with us. It takes time to produce the collections because, again, it starts from inceptions, and it's a whole process. It's a couture process, technically.
absolutely. I'm so glad that you mentioned this, the process, and because I think nicer things cannot be rushed.
No.
So yeah, and you having such as a brand respect for the process of creation is so dear to my heart. So thank you
Yeah,
for
and the
that.
inspiration, to your point, comes from various medium, architecture,
Mhm.
art, it could be just about anything. Our teams is very vibrant in terms of how much time they spend in researching and creating themes, because
Right.
each collection is a theme. So it's lead by, if you will, a theme or an energy that will actually project the next 6 or 12 new collections. Not to mention, we manufacture 24 fashion collection a year. So that is a lot of, as you can imagine, research and creativity that's involved. And that's on top of all our iconic, which is what we call our iconic is our base, what identify the brand as is through their craft. So we have an iconic in silk, an iconic in guipure, an iconic in embroidery, and an iconic in lace. And all those iconics are the pillar of what we do best. And
Mhm.
through that, there is then 24 fashion collections that every year, over and over, not to mention that's only in corsetry and lingerie, and then there is, of course, swimwear. So it's incredibly driven in terms of creativity.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that takes time, as you mentioned, and especially when you start from the scratch, and then you have to partner. You have to partner with some of the best lace makers, embroidery makers, and we source them either in north of France, or we source them in Italy, Switzerland, Austria, mainly in Europe. And yeah, that takes time, and we challenge them because we want to develop certain lace that never were created on levers machine, and those levers
Wow.
machine from the 1850s, they are a bit resilient. They take time. They're
Yeah.
not there. It takes a minute to actually make this into what it is. So there is way more than what the eye can meet sometimes, or
Mhm.
perceive, and we love to educate those customers because that what makes the difference.
Yes.
And they feel like they acquire something very much unique in that sense, and they are. And that's the beauty of the brand, and that's why I'm very passionate about that.
Well, I'm so glad you're sharing this because nobody really sees that, all the work that goes behind the scenes. And I think it's very important for the current Liz Charmel customers and future Liz Charmel customers to know.
For sure. Absolutely. Today, the brand has to tell that story and that history, and that's what really defines her in terms of it's a very strong identity. The brand has that strong identity, and I think it would be a mistake to overpass that and just take a bride. See, it looks pretty. That's not just enough.
Mhm.
There is so much that goes behind. Absolutely. And nowadays, even more into our lingerie and the ready to wear piece. So I'm wearing one of the bodysuit today, but there is so many more options. We have created beautiful garments. There is some behind me right now in silk chiffon that are there also to showcase even better the lingerie, allow this customer to feel like now she has something to wear with, so she can reveal again.
Yeah.
And so there is that element that also is a new element for Lise Charmel in the recent years to incorporate in the collection.
Hmm. I'm so glad. Well, I can't wait to see new collections because they're always so exciting. So, how does the brand stay current and competitive?
Very good question. Well, first of all, we are staying very true to what we always done. So we don't change, what we're doing in the sense that we're staying true to what we're saying, right? So the brand has kept a very strong narrative and image for that. And that's something that only evolves because time evolves, the conjuncture evolves, right? But the actual core of what we're saying is still very much the same. We've always showcased and take care of women, even in their larger cup size. This is not something new to us. We've always had that. And of course, the fact that we work with beautiful fabrics, they last long. That's another thing. Nowadays we talk about sustainability and so forth. But if you think about it, a product that is actually well made will last a very long time, and in that sense, it is sustainable. So we're adapting this message, of course. We're staying current because we always look at what's happening. We always look at trend. As I was saying, on the runways in the last couple of years, it's been an honor to witness that designers have really embraced the femininity of women and actually showcase a lot more sheerness, a lot more body, no matter the size, and really trying to embellish that and actually present the woman and really like affirm, let them affirm themselves. And I think that's something the brand has strongly, always done and continue to do. And that's why we also implement a lot more ready to wear piece. So we can have the same narrative now, the lingerie is also in the street. There's not a specific, you know, intimate moment to wear that lingerie. That lingerie can be part of the wardrobe. And I think
Yeah.
that's terrific. And that's where women feel very strong about, nowadays they feel very strong about doing that. And it's something they feel like they embrace. And then of course, it's also staying current with some of the collaborations that we may have. We've sponsored for the second year in a row now in Paris, le Rallye des Princesses, which is the Princess Rally. It's also partner with Richard Miles, the Richard Mille, the watchmaker. And so we do events that also puts us on the map, but it's actually women involved, women of character, women that are that are very, how would I say, they're, there's strong personalities that have, you know, um, made great strength for themselves. So that is something that the group has always support and will continue to support. And that's actually available around the world. It's something that, um, so in that we stay current. And of course we stay current with, so not only trends, but technology. There's a lot of new technology out there that we're trying to incorporate when it's actually not distorting what the narrative that we've always been very attuned to in terms of craftsmen and savoir-faire. So we don't want to stay away from that, but we are sourcing new fabrics, recycled materials, that are certified and so forth. So yes, in that aspect, I have to say I've been with the group for now over almost 13 years, and they don't cease to amaze me with the new collections. I've never found one group boring, or it's always something new, something exciting, and if it's not a new technique of laminations, or if it's something else, and it's always something exciting. And now with the ready to wear pieces, we feel like, oh my God, we can wear this anytime, all the time, and our customers can also venture there because it's also an add-on for them. And if they embrace this, they will actually do terrific, because now you don't only sell the bra and the panty, but you can actually sell the chemise that will reveal it nicely and allows her to say, I know what I'm going to wear this with, as opposed to, I don't know what I'm going to wear this with. So I think, yes, there's a lot of options and a lot of opportunities. And of course, our swimwear that is terrific year after year, and some really core groups there that have been driving the business phenomenally. So I feel like, for sure, and we're venturing in and pushing some boundaries, but not just with classic retailers, but with other type of retailers. And following her also along the path, where is this clients really going, where does she travel, when she travels, where does she goes, and really, like, knowing her better is also part of the project.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I can't wait to see new collections and find out what this secret is. And I wish the brand many, many good years ahead because
Thank
it's
you.
truly a fantastic brand. It's a gem and that should be cherished and loved.
Yes, I appreciate your saying that. We feel very much this way. I think everybody that works here is very passionate, has a very good understanding of what they have in their hands, like a beautiful piece of jewelry or something very special that we need to create and just make sure that we present the right way. But not to forget that you can do great business with this. And that's, it's then you have all the pieces not only. And the group's agility and flexibility also allows that for a lot of conversations. Now, it's not just pure and mere presentation of product, but it's really discussing with our partners what's next for them, where do they want to go, what's their objective, and really looking for new way of expanding and growing together. So that's actually a very exciting part of the business, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it's a very necessary part of the business, right?
Yes, yes. And it also allows us to adapt to the
Mhm.
markets. Some of the silhouettes that we've incorporated in our collections are very much geared for the North American markets. So I'm thinking of the 3/4 cup, that
Mhm.
is now available up to G cup,
Mhm.
on our regular collections. That is terrific. This is something that women can wear on a daily basis, and feel absolutely embellished and beautiful, So I feel like there's a lot to gain both ways because we learn
Absolutely.
more about the markets and therefore we can adapt better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And why wait for holidays to wear Liz Charmel?
Absolutely.
Every day can be a Liz Charmel day.
I agree 100%. I'm the first one to claim it loud and clear as much as I can. I also feel like I always say this is the analogy I use, and it's a funny analogy. And I know Ellen at Lingerie Brief is taking over that analogy because I would say I feel like we all like Picassos. You would not frame a Picasso with an IKEA frame. Nothing against IKEA, but you know what I mean.
Exactly.
It's like we are our own Picasso. We are all very imperfect and perfect at the same time. This is who we are, and each woman should frame. That's the frame that you're giving yourself. That's the confidence you're giving yourself. And if you can, you should do it, and reward yourself that way. And it's really mainly initially for you. And I love this new generation that is actually really doing it, and that, in those terms. And that actually really is terrific. It's really nice to see.
Yes, absolutely. So three parting questions that are a little bit more personal to you. So when you unplug from work, what brings you the most joy and help you reset?
Oh, so I love swimming. I'm a swimmer,
Mm.
so I go swimming. I love tea, so I do the tea ceremony. I'm a big I'm a big lover of tea, and I unwind with tea, candles, and just, a soft meditation or just a deep, breathing just to unwind. That's a lovely thing. And I always love to lounge in my silk, of course.
Yeah.
That's kind of a funny thing.
Mhm.
And it's interesting. Some fabric are incredibly noble, and yet, they can be also something that you can incorporate in your daily wear, and they become second, like a second skin. I mean, I have to
Mhm.
say, I love lounging in beautiful pieces. That brings me a lot of joy. Um, and what else? Well, I'm a curious mind, so I always, get to read something new. Or right now, I'm learning another language, so we'll see where that takes
Oh, which
me.
one?
I'm trying to learn Japanese,
Wow, that's
so that's a
amazing.
challenge.
Yes,
We'll see.
yes,
We'll
it
see.
is.
We'll
Wow,
see.
wow. So
But it brings
amazing.
me joy. And then I've
Yeah.
got my young daughter that I'm still, very much, very much at home. So
Mhm.
taking and enjoy time with her. So yes, family brings me joys and simple, simple, simple things.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. They're simple and beautiful. And wow, I'm so glad. We're very much in common. I love tea as well, and I love
Yeah.
walking around in my silks and
Voila.
so next to
What
us.
else could you ask for?
Yeah, exactly. And looking back at your journey, what moment still makes you smile the most?
Hmm. Well, I had a very interesting journey over the course of the years, and I've done very different things. So my parkour is a little bit atypical, if you will. But I think what brings me the most joy is still the travel part of it. I
Mm.
love traveling. I love, going places. And as I say, I'm a curious mind, so I always try to incorporate something to discover. I was recently in Denver, and I had the pleasure to go back and revisit the botanical garden. That's absolutely
Mm.
terrific. So I always try to bring something that's nurturing as well on a cultural level, because I think it also broadens perspective. It brings new thoughts, it brings new energy, and it's also very interesting when you travel to see, especially in America. I mean, all the states, it's almost like different countries, so you're always constantly dealing with some, you know new things. To me, it's always very interesting. So I love the travel part of my job. I'm very lucky to say that Lise Charmel beautiful office and flagship is in Paris. We're located in the heart of Saint-Germain-des-Prés. This is I'm talking to you from our second floor here of a fabulous showroom and store. Some of our leadership offices are in there. Across the little courtyard here is our creative design team. So much is happening in this small neighborhood. I love that. I always get, so excited to go back in the street and see what's happening. I
Mhm.
think, yes, I mean, all the travels really bring me a lot of joy, I have to say.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. I also love to travel, love Paris. And you're right. Some tiny neighborhoods, they every day you walk down the same street and something new happening. I've
That's
noticed
right.
that too. It's like always a discovery. You wake up in the morning and it's like new day, new excitement. So yeah, it's beautiful. And thank you for sharing because we never have time at the shows to talk. You're very busy. Your booth is always the
Yes,
busiest at the show. So I'm so glad we got together and chatted a little bit. And
for sure.
well, Sandra, thank you so much for this
Thank you.
fantastic conversation. We learned a lot about Liz Charmel, about you. And I want to wish you a fantastic year.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
hope
Appreciate.
hope to see you many times
Yes,
everywhere.
I think we'll run into each other. Thank you
Absolutely.
for being so flexible, by the way,
My
with your
pleasure.
with my constraints, because it's been quite challenging to schedule this, but I definitely wanted to host this conversation in this showroom. Um, Not just because, but I think it's also very exciting for me to be able to just turn around and show and show you a little glimpse. This is just a little glimpse, of course, and I invite all the customers that be watching to come, even if there is not a show. If you happen to be in Paris, you're always welcome at Lise Charmel. The team is terrific, and we don't have to be there as the North America team to us too. There is always somebody that is welcome, and we have several customers that are just popping up and love the experience and the tour, and we treat everyone with some great champagne. So do
Amazing.
come.
When I'm
Voilà.
next time in Paris, I'll definitely stop by.
Please, you'll be welcome.
Thank
But
you.
thank you.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
All right, so we'll talk soon, I guess.
Absolutely.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye bye.
If you find this content useful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to see more videos from Intimate Talks interview series. I'm Efros. Thank you so much for watching.